Alright, this is Watercoloring Basics 101. I haven't got anything drawn out, but I just want to show you what the different types of watercolor and how you can watercolor. In painting, they call it layers. In watercolor, they call it washes. So you want to layer your colors, you want to do washes. The reason why it's called washes and not layers is because you want to wait till the paper is completely dry. Layers, you just want the paint to be dry so you can paint another layer on top of it. Watercolor does not have that buildup of paint. You're tinting the paper with color. You're tinting the paper with color. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to need water. That's what I have here. You will be tempted to fill it up to the brim. Do not fill it up to the brim. Should be halfway or a little above halfway. 2/3, you've gone too far. Push it down. Alright? You can clean out the water if you need to clean out the water. Mostly when you think you need to clean out the water, you do not need to clean out the water. So I'm going to put that off the side so you can't see it. This is a watercolor palette. This has all the colors in it, as you see. This probably won't happen when you pick up the watercolor palettes. If that's the case, mix and match. It is okay that you have two palettes, but sharing means caring, people. So if your neighbor doesn't have a color you have, share it. Do not fight over it. You know, all sources of resolution in my classroom is paper, scissors, rock. So you can see who gets the color first by just doing that, other than arguing about it and yelling at each other. For watercolor, you'll be tempted to get the big brushes. No! Do not get the big brushes! That said, you want more watercolor brushes. These ones are very nice. I like this one especially. This one is very nice. Okay, this is like a medium brush. I know it doesn't look like medium, but that's a medium. The smaller flathead brushes are nice. This, too big. We're not painting inside of a house or a barn. You don't need this for watercolor. It takes too much paint, and you're tinting the paper. You're not painting the paper. With that said, I'll be using this one first. Yay! Because why? I like it more. So, getting started. We have our water. We have our paint palette. If you ever played darts, you will hold it like a dart. Okay? Yes, I have my pinky out. Do not make fun of me. So, I have that pinky out for stability. And so I can lay down the pinky down so I can get a nice straight line if I need a straight line. I can have it for support, so it supports my hand and my brush, so I'm not real shaky like the camera is. Doesn't know what to focus on. So, you're going to dip it down. Now, in order to clean your brush, you tap it like 3 times. Boom, 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 boom. Okay? 3 times. Boom, 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 boom. I know that was 4, but let's see if you're paying attention. Alright? You're going to grab water, and you're going to put it in here. I'm going to go with brown. So I'm just taking water, and then I'm just letting it soak into the brown. Then I'm going to do what most of you do by not working on your projects during my class period, is I'm going to agitate it. So I'm going to move it around. I don't know if you can see it on the screen there, but you can see that it's turning a little bit lighter brown, and I'm getting that water so it's a nice tint. So, move the water off the side. You all know I'm using brown, so you know that's a lovely color, and we're going to get started, okay? So, see I'm holding it as a dart. And the first thing is, like always, you want to move the brush towards you because you have more control on what's going towards you. Alright? I'm using the paint directly from the source. Not adding any in. This is called basically kind of dry, just a wet brushing, a regular brushing. it doesn't create much difference in value. If I was to take it and then just take a little bit of the paint off and then apply it, that's more like dry brushing. The other method's close, but it's called dry brushing. You can see I'm laying down my bristles and I'm moving it back and forth where I can thin out the color just a little bit, but not that much. And I can go back and I can add intensity of color by just dry brushing more on there to where I want it darker. So it should dry relatively fast. Okay, go back over and I can push and pull that color, and I don't want to put, have it all over, because I want that variation of color so I can have a nice 3D form. And I can add water, soften the tones a little bit so it looks a little bit more 3D and everything looks filled. Okay? Wet brushing is when you lay down water, then you get a bunch of this, and then you add it in. You can do that for highlights. And I'll diffuse through the water. That much I don't recommend. What I do recommend is wet on wet brushing, where I can take color and I'm diffusing it through the water, but I'm also pushing and pulling it in other spots to get a variant of color where it goes from dark to light. And I can push that color anywhere that I want. And again, you're going to be painting over this a couple times over to get layers. So I can come over here, make this darker here, and take my brush. You can see I'm not scrubbing with my bristles. I'm not fraying out my edges of my bristles. I am taking the tip of the brush and moving the paint around by laying my brush tip pretty flat onto the surface and going from there. So you can see that I'm getting different variations already. One side's darker than the other by doing washes. Okay. These are about the three basic types of way to watercolor. All of them are going to need for you to definitely go over in layers, whether it's like the dry brushing here or just kind of wet brushing where you're applying the color in and then you're pushing it around so you can get more intense colors. I can grab some color from here, add it to other places. I can add it to my background of my lighting here. And move that color on the surface. Some watercolor paper will not be this forgiving. Once you lay it down, it's pretty well down. Those are the couple different kinds of watercoloring.